Hi guys, it's Rachel. How are you? So today I wanted to jump on real quick. I know yesterday I talked about how I had my first dental appointment and he took a lot off my top denture, and I think part of that was because my lower denture is so big, so bulky for my mouth, and I have a really tiny mouth, that he knew he needed to take a good bit off his top one. So I wasn't gagging as much. I was happy initially. It felt a little jaggedy, like he didn't like file it down quite enough, so it was kind of rubbing and scratching. But then as the night went on last night, I started to struggle a little bit more with it, almost like I did at the very beginning. Like my speech was different, where I was like, what in the world? But then I realized, well, my tongue is hitting at a different place because they adjusted the denture. And then I was gagging a little bit more again, trying to get used to it. And eating was a little bit more challenging. And then last night was my first night sleeping without them. And so last night, honestly, I sat in my bed wallowing in self-pity. Because I told you guys I'm going to be very honest on this channel. And I was really discouraged. I was like, man, this stinks. Like, I get this done. I finally get adjusted to the original temporary denture. Then I go in for an adjustment, and now it felt like it was all screwed up. I was like, the palate feels too thin. It feels like it's scratchy. I have a warranty. I can't touch these things on my own, or it messes with the warranty. It was falling out of my mouth, and I couldn't use any adhesive in the front yet, and I was just so absolutely positively discouraged. And just wallowing in self-pity, thinking like, I can't sleep without these, because when I take mine out, my face does sink in quite a bit. Some people that doesn't happen, mine it does. So I'm like, I'm not used to sleeping that way. In my head, I just kept saying, I can't this, I can't that, I can't this, I can't that. And then I had this moment where I kind of had to snap myself out of it and say, you know what? 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago, you thought you couldn't have 20-some teeth pulled. And you thought then you could never get adjusted to the denture. And then you thought you were never going to be able to eat. And I started going through all the things in the last 2.5 weeks that I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. And then I'd be able to do it, or I'd adjust to it. And so I kind of got really determined. Like, I had my own little pep talk, and I got really determined, and I said, okay, if I can adjust to all of those things that I've adjusted to in the last 2.5 weeks, I can adjust to the palate being different now that it got adjusted, and I can adjust to these other things that I'm going to have to. Because I had to make myself realize that over the next year, it's always going to be changing. It's either going to be an adjustment or a realign or my permanents, where it's kind of, and in some ways you feel like you're starting over. So you get a little discouraged, like, man, I just got to a sweet spot with where my other ones were hitting, or with this or with that, and now this changes it. And so I just want to encourage you to stay positive. And you are going to have those times where you kind of spiral a little bit. But when you do, if you can try to remind yourself of all the things you overcame in this process so far. Because when you get dentures, it is a adventure, a journey, and a process. And you will conquer and overcome multiple things. And so when you have those days that you feel a little low, and maybe it's because something's not fitting, maybe you get an adjustment and you're like, this isn't helping, this seems like it made it worse, or maybe you get your permanents and you're trying to adjust to those. Just think of everything that you've overcame and how you've been able to kind of, things that you thought you'd never be able to do, you were able to do those. And when you dwell on the positive and not the negative, you would be amazed at the boost it gives you. Like last night, when I stopped dwelling on the negative and started to think about the positive and the things that I have been able to overcome in the last 2.5 weeks, it gave me encouragement to say, you know what, I can do this. Yes, things are now different after this adjustment, but it's going to be okay. I can work on my speech. I can work on eating with these now that the fit's a little bit different and it's hitting in different spots. I can work on these things and it's going to be okay. So that's kind of my encouragement for the day. You're going to go through all kinds of feelings and emotions with this process. It is so emotional, and you don't really think that going into it. You think it's going to be physical. You know, obviously you're getting major surgery and something put in your mouth that's not typically there. It's kind of foreign. But it will be okay. You can get through it. Just stay positive. Think of all the things you've overcome, and it will help you get to that other side, and you'll be able to continue to press on. So thank you. You guys are amazing. So many of you have liked and subscribed and shared, and we've been able to really spread the reach and help a lot of people. And I will keep bringing you content as I go through emotions or adjustments or things that work for me or things that may not work for me. Again, I preface it every time with everyone's different, so you have to do what works for you. But that was just, I was pretty low last night, and I had to give myself like my own little pep talk and really dwell on the, okay, here's all you've overcame in 2 weeks, because it was crazy. They did feel, when I went in yesterday, literally there was 2 little spots that were bugging me. That was it on the top. And they felt like so natural, like kind of like my own teeth, to be honest with you. I didn't have a lot of issues with them. And now I feel like, oh, I have like all this stuff now that I'm not loving. But I think part of that is, you know, they know that they've got to try to get those bottoms in my mouth somehow. And that means adjustments to the top. And so I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm going to be okay. I just need to keep doing the things that I did the last 2.5 weeks, and I'll get to the other side. But, yeah, that was kind of my night last night. And I thought, you know what? I'm sure other people have felt that on this journey. So I wanted to hit the record button and, you know, let you know it's okay to have those days. But you do have to pull yourself up out of that, because if not, you will just give up and you won't keep pushing yourself to wear them, to work through some of those challenges that you might be feeling at the moment. So hopefully you're having a great day. I will see you later and talk to you next time.